A lot of people actually ask, why Evil Ryu? Why not like Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li? There's so many characters. At that time, we were not really thinking of the commercial side of things. We just wanted to do what we love. Hi, my name is Adib. I'm the creative director and co-founder of Kinetiquettes. I've been always the kid in school that likes to draw on their textbooks, and I had more attention during art class than any other subjects. And being a kid during the 90s, I kind of grew up with handheld games, very old school retro. I was also introduced to arcades. I used to go to arcades with my friends. Although Capcom is a major partner of ours now, my introduction to fighting games was through SNK games, the King of Fighters, Samurai Showdowns, and Last Blade and all that. So I was always growing up mainly influenced by games. My first job was actually in animation. I was working in Tecmo Koei, which is a Japanese company in Singapore office as an animator. I was there for 4 years, and I went on to work in Ubisoft Singapore also as an animator. While I was working in the industry, I was doing some part-time teaching here and there. So I realized I do enjoy teaching, so that's what kind of led me to go into teaching full-time. So I was teaching animation and visual arts and drawing and stuff like that in Singapore Polytechnic. After my work hours, I used to do clay modeling, just to do something different from sitting in front of the computer whole day. Once I did a character, one of my friends saw it and he said, hey, why don't you make a character for me? So he actually commissioned me to make a sculpture. So it was a side thing going on. That was another key diversion where about halfway into that 9 years of being in the video game industry, I started to do these clay models. And people were actually commissioning me to do one-for-one for their collection, like characters they love. I met my current partners in Comic Cons, like Singapore Comic Con. It's a small community in Singapore after all. Kelvin, who's my current partner, he came up to me because he's a big action figure guy. So he was thinking, how do you make action figures of your characters like Star Wars? We sat down in lunch one day and then we were talking about it. I thought, hey, why don't we set up a company just for fun and see whether we can get some license to produce sculptures officially. So being in the video game industry, we knew people in the industry, and I had ex-colleagues who was ex-Capcom employee, so she hooked me up to someone within Capcom who helped me again to reach out to the licensing department. We pitched the idea, but they rejected us the first time. The licensing department person who was there, he said, what you guys are trying to do is interesting, but there's some business requirements, like they need a business proposal and some guarantees. After all, Capcom is a business entity, right? So they need to make things profitable. So whenever they give the license to someone, they have to kind of also have a business plan. So they actually kind of guided us. We pulled it together and proposed a second time, and actually they said, okay, we can make it work. They also helped us liaise with the Japan HQ to get the worldwide license for Street Fighter. So that's how we kind of started out back in 2014. And the rest is kind of history to where we are now. A lot of people actually ask, why Evil Ryu? Why not like Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li? There's so many characters. At that time, we were not really thinking of the commercial side of things. We just wanted to do what we love. So we thought the Evil Ryu design was kind of crazy and cool. We didn't have the digital sculpting methods that we have now. We designed it first and then we sculpted it by hand, and then also because of my experience with creating one-off sculptures, I knew how to mold and cast the clay pieces to make a copy that can be assembled and painted. It sold out, and then we had the subsequent figurine, which was the Oni Akuma, to go along with it. Kinetiquettes is a culmination of two words, which is kinetic and maquette. So kinetic is energy and maquette is another term for sculpture. We have a sub-tagline which is called capturing the essence of characters in dynamic action. We try to capture the characters in a particular moment in action, especially in the concept stage. So during the concept stage, we will actually do a lot of rough sketches of different ideas of these kind of actions and choose something that we think works best. Within the team, we will argue back and forth. Like some people will say, oh, this is crap. Oh, this is cool. And then finally come to an agreement. Then we'll develop it further. Then we'll submit it to our partner licensor to approve. After they approve it, we will go on to the sculpting stage. Now we work with artists from all over the world to do not just the concept, but also the sculpting part and the painting of the prototypes and things like that. So during the sculpting stage, we'll work with the sculptor back and forth to try to capture as much of the concept as we can. But of course, concept being 2D, there are a lot of things that translates well and some things that don't. So you have to do a few changes in the 3D product. In fact, sometimes we might even get to a point where we have a 3D product like the concept, but we don't really like the 3D product, so we will do additions or do major overhauls. We try to do it as early as we possibly can because we don't want to be stuck in the 3D sculpting stage forever. So after the 3D is done, nowadays we do mostly 3D printing because of the advent of digital. So it goes onto the printers, and after the printers are done, either we make a copy of the original 3D master and then we paint that as a prototype, or we send it to a production facility in China and then they will make a cast, some 3D engineering on it so that it's easily assembled and disassembled, and then they'll send it to us and we'll paint that as a prototype. So of course, when you have the physical finished prototype, then you can do all your marketing videos and photos and beauty shots and all that. To do pre-order, usually our model is more like made to order. So whatever number of orders we get, we produce. Maybe some excess in some cases, just for any special events that we want to release some editions for. But other than that, usually it's made to order in limited quantities. And especially now with a lot of statue companies out there doing a lot of great work and things like that, we try to differentiate ourselves in terms of creative design, the characters we choose, and we want to design it in such a way that it becomes a centerpiece when you put it up on your collection. It's always a learning process for us. I don't think we feel that we are still as good as we can be. I can even go back, look at even the most latest product and feel like, oh, I could have done things better, or I should have done things better. So in every project, we try to learn from the previous one and try to up our game. We have started out with a smaller scale initially, which was 1/6 dioramas, which worked for dioramas, but you cannot do dioramas in 1/4 scale, which is this Chun-Li, for example, because if you do large dioramas in 1/4 scale, it's going to take up too much space. People think twice to buy something that takes up too much space. While we still have the movement and flow and dynamism, one thing we are doing right now is keeping to the 1/4 scale format, but keeping things compact in a sense in terms of taking up display space. While 1/4 scale is the focus, there will be some 1/6 and some even a smaller scale down the line. And then also, because of our now partnership with MJ, we are trying to have a more diverse lineup of characters, not just video games as well, but also like from anime and movies and things like that. It's funny you mentioned Dante and Virgil. I think that project holds up even today. I think it's one of our best work. I feel I'm quite proud of what the team achieved with that one. I think it's one of the better Devil May Cry statues in the market. I might be a bit biased, but I also like Chun-Li in the 1/4 scale. It's also one of the better Chun-Li statues in the market that we are quite proud of. I think the design of it was done very well, especially because we worked with Stanley Arjun Lau in this. Of course, the character looks beautiful based on his design direction, but I think the team also came together quite well to design the base of it, which has a very nice flow, taking up very little space, but still showing a lot of flow and dynamism there. We have a lot of things in the pipeline, especially now that we are part of Mighty Jaxx. So IP opportunities have opened up for us. We still have our core IPs, like for example, Street Fighter. We are already working on the next statue, which is follow-up to Chun-Li, will be Cammy. And then also working on our 4th partnership with Stanley Arjun Lau, which is related to the Darkstalker series. And then we have like more SNK characters coming up, which is from the Samurai Showdown series. So the first Samurai Showdown release is coming up, which will be revealed in SGCC. And then we have an all-new IP, very popular TV show IP, again thanks to being able to work on it through Mighty Jaxx, which will also be revealed at SGCC. A lot of things are in development which are exciting, but we can't say much until it's time. Mighty Jaxx has given us a lot of opportunities to work on a lot of things that we love. One of the things the team is quite excited about is being able to work on some upcoming IPs like Demon Slayer anime. I think a lot of people are excited for that. There's a lot of things to look forward to for us. I have to give a shout out to my partners. We all have different roles that we play that helps us move forward. We've made plenty of mistakes. We've done things that we are quite proud of. So I think it's all part of the process. So Kinetiquettes is nothing without them. And also, of course, all the different artists and sculptors we work with. Being able to work with artists like Stanley Arjun, him telling us that we're one of the studios that he prefers to work with because of the way we work with him is kind of the culmination of all their efforts. So you see my face, but actually all the output that you see is because of the people working in the background. I've never ever thought that making a living of what I do should be the priority, or was ever a thought. It just happened. I think the commercialization or making a living off of it will come automatically. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe not, other people are not so lucky, but I think one thing that helps is you try to find what it is that you enjoy. Eventually somebody somewhere will find value in it, but the most important thing is you must find value in it.